everybody, and welcome to the show. Today is, I think you are the third technical guest of the show. So I take that for what it's worth. Usually the show is just me bitching a lot, but today I have Mr. Chuck Veri. Is that how you say it? Or is it like Italian, like Veri?
No, that's it. Just Chuck Veri.
Chuck Veri. So you are Charles or Charlie?
Yeah, I'm Charles.
And I heard on Paul's podcast you don't like Charlie or you don't like Charles. What is that? Can you confirm or deny?
Yeah.
Because I
I
am
don't,
sitting right here.
I don't like how the RL sounds together.
That's my favorite part, actually.
I don't know. And so that's why I went with Chuck. I mean, it's cool. I'm not I don't have anything against Charlie's or Charles, but for my own personal day-to-day use, I prefer Chuck,
I'm going to go and burn my Inco Fido record.
Oh,
just because you said that.
You already paid for it, right?
I did, so I guess it it was funny because I was watching the Beatles Get Back thing on Disney Plus last night, and they go over briefly about when John Lennon did the whole "we're bigger than God" or whatever the hell he said, and people are burning records. And that's a very good point where all these people are burning records. It's like you already paid for it, right? And then eventually, all those people probably rebought those Beatles records.
Mm-hmm. Probably best thing that ever happened to him.
Yes, exactly. So you are in the band Inco Fido. That's where we met, really. I think it was about a month ago, a month and a half or so is when you and I first met, right? Or am
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Simon Ferocious played with Inco Fido, and then my other band, Radar, came back to the same venue and played another show, and then we hung out there. And you said that you kind of connected with our last record because there's a lot of near-death experience stuff, and you let me know for the first time that you actually had a near-death experience. And you're the first person I've ever met who has had something like that. So today I brought you on to kind of talk about it, and you said you haven't talked about it. So I know I've heard like interviews and stuff and people get kind of heavy about it. I don't know if that's where you're at with it, but why don't you just kind of go through what happened in your NDE or near-death experience, as they call them?
Yeah.
How it happened and all that stuff.
So yeah, I don't know. It's not really a really fantastic story, I don't think. I was out on my back porch one night, and I came in the back door into my kitchen, and I had like a glass of water or something sitting on the counter. I picked it up, I took a sip, and everything went black. I fell right on the floor, and I don't know how long I was gone for, And like I said, I don't even know why it happened. But when I was out, like I felt it was awesome. Like it was the best feeling I've ever felt in my life. Like it was total euphoria. I felt like I was kind of up out of my body, and there was this music playing that I can't really describe. Like I can't properly describe how it sounded, but I loved it. Like it was wonderful. And there was lights, like there were these like pastel, like a net, across like whatever was above me. It was just totally black except for like this net of these crazy like pastel, all different colored lights. And I actually found something like later, like much afterwards. There's a mosque in Iran, and the ceiling of the place is painted like that. It's called the Nazir al-Mulk Mosque.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, that's it. Like that's like the closest thing I've ever seen in the real world. That was that I would as closely describe as what I saw, like in that moment, or a couple months. Like I said, I don't know how long I was out for.
Did anybody tell you how long you were out afterwards?
My wife said that I was out for a few minutes. I think she said maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Um,
And how did so I've heard that. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I just have so many questions because like I've said, I've never met somebody who's like, it sounds like you were about to go to the other side or whatever may happen after death. So did it feel like, was time a thing for you? Because I've heard in other stuff where it was like there was no such thing as time. It didn't feel like 5 minutes. It just didn't. I couldn't tell what time was during that.
right. Yeah, I felt, that definitely, for sure. There was no, like I said, like I really don't. My wife said I was out for a few minutes, but I don't know. Like I have you know what I mean? It doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's a very confusing thing. There's so little known about the whole thing.
Right. Yeah. Like it happened in a second and it took forever, like all at the same time. It's just something I can't really describe.
That's so wild. Another thing I've heard is you mentioned like the colors and stuff, is colors that you didn't know existed. Like there's stuff that the human eye has discovered. I've like read books and listened to a bunch of people who've had NDEs, and they've described something similar. Is that what you kind of had, or was it like, Roy G. Biv up in that mosque?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it definitely was, but it was more.
Yeah,
there was like the basic colors that you could see, and then you could. I don't know how to explain it. You could kind of see where the different colors blended together in a way that you don't normally get to see. It was like I said, it was almost like a blanket or a net, and there was just all these different, like they were in groups, but it all meshed together. It was like something I'd never seen before. Like, and that's what I said about that mosque. Like when you see that, like it's painted up in all these wild colors, right? And all the windows around it are like stained glass, right? So you get that, like that color coming in and hitting these colors, and like that's what I said that most closely describes it, right? Because you don't really ever see that hue unless you're in that room with that light coming through that window. Yeah. If that makes sense.
No, yeah.
So yes, it was a totally unique thing.
Right. Were you scared or terrified in any of this as it happened?
No, not at all. Like the total opposite. Like I never wanted it to end.
Really? So complete zen or whatever.
Oh yeah, it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen, the most wonderful music that I ever heard, and as good as my body's ever felt.
Wow. So is it safe to say that you're not afraid of what comes after your time on Earth is expired?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Like you're not going to go out and kill yourself, but you're not like terrified of dying anymore. Because a lot of the times in the stuff that I've researched and whatnot, it says that people are like, yeah, I'm not afraid of dying anymore. Or if you had that fear at one point.
Yeah, no, I'm not. So I would say, yeah, that's true. I would say I'm not afraid of dying anymore. Like I'm not afraid if that's what it's gonna be, or at least for a little while.
Yeah. Right.
I guess I'm not afraid of that. I'm afraid of dying for other reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to be around for my kids and like, you know what I mean? Like that kind, that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
I think the because I don't want to die now, right? Is what I'm saying.
It's funny too. I always have this like thing. I don't have any kids or anything like that. I'm sure it'll change when that comes around. But obviously, I want to be here for my wife and family and stuff like that. But one thing I'm like, when I die, I can't write any more radar records, and that bums me out.
Yeah. So you have to die after me.
I'll make sure that happens. Okay, I'll kill you, and then I'll do a murder-suicide. Is that cool?
That would be perfect. Yeah.
Then both of our bands will get huge when we're done, right? That's how it works.
That's the dream. right?
Are you religious in any way, shape, or form?
No, well, no, I don't really follow. I don't really follow any sort of particular religion, if that's what you mean. I like to study
Yeah,
religion.
okay.
You
Like
know,
understand what it is, right? So you
yeah,
wouldn't say that you're not like you don't go to church on Sunday, that kind of thing. Um, was there any? Because there's this stuff where people are like, I saw God, or I saw Jesus told me it is not your time, go back, and stuff like that. Anything like that? Did you see anybody, or was it just kind of like this, almost like the Pink? It sounds like the Pink Floyd light show is what you
yeah,
experienced.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I didn't see anybody. I did
Okay,
not. I didn't see any sort of human forms or any light beings or anything like that that like you hear about with this kind of
right.
stuff. Nothing like that at all.
No, no, like past relatives or anything like that either.
No,
Just the experience, huh?
no. It was just the black and that color and that music. That's
That's wild.
all that I remember.
So a lot of people, when they come back, they feel like they can't tell the story because they think people are, like judgmental about the whole thing. Like, you didn't see it, it was your brain. Did it feel like a dream? Because there's a lot of times where I see it's like, no, it was not a dream. I was present in the moment. Was it dreamlike, or was it like I was at the Pink Floyd light show?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was totally different than a dream.
Okay.
A totally different feeling from a dream. It was.
But would you say it was different feeling from being human?
Yes.
Okay. So it's somewhere in between human and a dream. That's a
Yeah,
great song lyric. You can have that one, Chuck.
thanks. Yeah, I don't really know what to say.
Yeah.
I was up out of my body. You know what I mean? I was up out of my body. I didn't feel
Okay.
like I was up out of my body. You know,
Right.
my whatever consciousness, soul, whatever the hell you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
Pick your flavor, was not there. And it wasn't even like I was in the room. Like, you know how some people talk about like they could see themselves or like be in the room or whatever like
Yeah.
that. It didn't feel like I was in the room either. I was completely removed. I was somewhere else.
Okay. You were like in a different realm.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
Mm-hmm.
So if this was a feeling that you could, you know, smoke or something, would you smoke that shit every day? Not every
Yeah.
day, but would you? I mean, it would be one of those things that you would.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, because the whole, I've heard the whole DMT thing. I know earlier I said I wasn't Joe Rogan, and then of course I'm mentioning DMT on this. So here I go. No, but I've heard that DMT is kind of a similar thing, but for me, it scares the shit out of me. Everything that you're saying, because I'd be like, oh my god. But you say that it's very calming and everything is okay, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really was. I don't know. It really
Yeah.
was, man. I don't know how I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah.
But like it was totally calming. Like, I mean, you can, like, you're not going to worry about it. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to
Yeah.
be, you know what I mean? Oh my God. Oh, what is this? You know what I mean? What's happening right now? Because
Yeah.
like, just, it is happening. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter. Right. That's,
Yeah. So when you
um,
did, so how did you know? Like, so were you brought to the hospital, or what? Or was this just like I blacked out for 2 minutes or 3 minutes?
yeah,
What?
no. So yeah, I woke up to the, EMTs over top of
Okay.
me.
Oh wow.
My wife had called, and when I came back, yeah, there was two of them. They were just like walking into the house, and I like sat up, and I felt like okay. I was a little dizzy, like,
Yeah.
you know, um, hungover kind of feeling. Back of my head hurt a little bit. um,
Yeah.
But that was it. And like I sat down and they were like, "Do you want to go to the hospital?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." And they're like, "Well, you know," so I was like, I feel okay. And they were like, "Look, it's not normal, you know, what just happened to you, and I think we should probably go get looked at." And I was, so they talked me into it, and I went, you know, but they didn't fucking find anything either. You know,
Wow.
they did a bunch of tests of
Did,
the EKGs and
right.
you know, scans, and did a they scanned my fucking, I don't know what the hell it's called. They scanned my head, and,
Yeah.
you know, all that
Did,
stuff, and they're like, oh,
did you like
you know,
flatline? I mean, were you like dead technically? Like, did your heart stop beating?
I don't know, I
Or
wasn't
did they
there.
do they not even know what the hell?
Yeah, well, that's what they said. They said they didn't. There was no signs that there was anything wrong at all.
Wow. What the fuck? That's crazy. So when after you had this whole thing, did you go in? I kind of went on a rabbit hole of this, obviously, since most of the lyrics that I wrote for the last record kind of, you know, um, go hand in hand with this kind of stuff. Did you go on a research thing, like what the fuck did I just experience here, or was it just like, hey, that was weird, I'll have another beer?
Yeah, at first it was kind of like that. Like, yeah, I don't know, whatever. And
Right.
but then you know, a little bit of time passed, you know, and it would keep coming up, you know, in my head,
Yeah.
you know, over this time, and then I don't know what it was, but then yeah, I felt like deep down into a rabbit hole, you know,
Oh yeah.
for a long, long time, you know, and I would do a lot of meditation and breathing exercises and stuff like that, trying to bring
Mhm.
myself kind of like hoping to kind of maybe be able to recreate some of that
Yeah.
feeling again.
And you never did.
No, no.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, there was some stuff that I was doing that was really cool, made me feel really good, you know.
Yeah.
But it was never anything quite like that. I was never really able to
Right.
recreate that.
Yeah. Wow. That's all. It's just so crazy to like talk to somebody who's kind of had that happen to them, because I've heard, I listened to some podcasts, I read several books. Did you ever read with the one that's kind of like the big one is that guy, that like neurologist guy? I can't remember his name, but oh, did you just get a text message or did you
I'm
just hear
sorry.
ass?
Yeah.
um God damn, I can't think of his name. But he's like the guy. But my problem with him is I've seen him on like podcasts or like he'll do like talks, and he just kind of babbles on. So like I read his book. It's called Proof of Heaven. Do you know what I'm talking about at all?
No, I've not read that one.
God, I can't remember his name. Something Ibn Alexander. You should check it out. The story is really crazy because he had like um what is it? Meningitis in his brain or something. I don't know. That's probably wrong. I read
Mm.
it a while ago, but he basically kind of saw the same kind of stuff as you did, but then he finds out, spoiler alert for people who are going to read the book. He finds out that like this woman who was guiding him through this like stuff was his adopted sister who passed away like 20 years ago. So I don't know. Maybe it sounds like it's easy for people to hear that and be like, oh, well, that guy's clearly making that up, right? But it is a very interesting story, and that's how he sold his book, and the fact that he was a neurologist atheist beforehand. So it's like kind of one of those things. So I don't know why I went on the tangent if you haven't read the book.
No, it's fine. But no, I mean that's a great thing though. You know, it's like it's I don't know. It's always strange to me, right? There's so many of these stories, right? There's so many of these experiences people have had, and you know, it can't. You can't. We can't. They can't all be making it up, right? You know what I
Right.
mean?
It's
Like,
right. Yeah. So even if it is just like a brain thing, it's not just like hunky dory fantasy tale land time. You know what I mean?
yeah, there's got to be something like, you know, this is something that's baked into the human experience somewhere along the
Right.
line. You know, like no matter what it is, if you take it for a spiritual way or a heavenly way or a, or even a scientific way, like, is it like 0.007% of the electromagnetic spectrum is visible to the human eye?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I refuse to believe that everything that's going on around, like everything that's going on just happens to fall in that little sliver, There's
and no, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I'm just saying there's a vast array of things that we are not, that we can't perceive that go on around us day in and day out all the time.
Yeah, dude. And this is a conversation. This is like Paul and I have gotten into several conversations that get pretty heated because he's a very everything that he kind of gets into is fact-based. It's got evidence and stuff like that. But when we're talking about this kind of thing, I feel like there's evidence that this stuff is going on. Obviously, people are talking about it a lot, but it's not like pen to paper evidence, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we get into these, like, I don't want to say arguments, but these heated discussions almost, where it's just like, nope, that's your brain telling you it's time to go and blah, 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 blah. I'm a big douchebag. I'm Paul. So, but yeah, so that's like one of those things where it's okay to just not know. I'm not saying that it's God being like, Chuck, come and listen to this dope mixtape that I just did with the Pink Floyd light show in the background. But I also think that it could be something. It's possible that humans don't know everything about what happens in our bodies. And not only that, everything, right?
Right.
And I'm not a conspiracy guy by any means necessary. And that's the reason Paul and I started Simon Ferocious is the conspiracy theory. We just would always laugh about conspiracy theories. So, is there anything else you want? I mean, I don't really have any more questions. It was just kind of cool to talk about your experience, man. That's crazy that you went through, and I'm glad you were willing to share all of that with me.
Yeah, no problem, man. No, I mean, I'm good. Like I said, it kind of is what it is. You know what I mean? Right. I told you all I know. I don't really know what to make of it other than it's I don't know. It happened to me. It's happened before, and it's gonna happen again.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, that stuff. I obviously find it super interesting. Obviously, there's research on it, but there's never a definitive answer with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. There was a good book. It was called Real Magic. It was by Dean Radin, I think was the guy's name. He's a doctor, and he studied like psychology and parapsychology for like 3 decades in a lab. Studied remote viewing, those kind of things.
Right.
And he published all these papers and basically compiled them into a book saying, here is some, lab empirical evidence that I have using, the scientific method, saying that this is real stuff,
Yeah.
So that's an interesting book. I don't know if that's something you might be interested in reading.
What's it called again? Real Magic?
It's called Real Magic.
All right, cool. I'll write
that down. I have a copy of it if you want it.
Sure, I'll be in Pittsburgh soon.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. That stuff it's always interesting to me until they, say, oh, this is what it is. I'm still going to keep on keeping on with it. I just find it so kind of incredible that these people come. And a lot of the times, and obviously you're not crying or anything like that, but there's a lot of times where I hear these stories and they come back and it's like so emotional that they can't help but just start bawling and being like, but not like a sad cry, like a holy shit, it was the most beautiful thing in the world.
Yeah.
What's also funny is that we're talking about this, and usually there's a lot of fart talk on this podcast. So we've gone from farts to the afterlife, and I'm glad you're here for it, Chuck.
It's all part of the human experience.
We cover everything on this show.
That's right.
That should be in my bio. Farts to NDEs. You know. Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit. You said that you didn't really have much to say about your NDE, and we've been going for almost a half hour. But you also said that you've seen some shit in, maybe some cryptid shit, maybe some UFOs. Can you elaborate a little bit? Because you had mentioned that.
I've seen lots of weird shit, man.
So explain your weird shit. Because
So
I'm jealous of that too.
I have some videos actually of some like orbs floating in the sky that I saw out behind my house. I don't know what they were. Again, like I'm not, aliens. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not dismissing it, but I'm not saying that's what it is either, right? I don't know. There's a lot of shit going on, right? If you look at like, I think it's a scalability thing. Okay. If you want like the root behind it, like if you look at like how small we are, right, and how big our planet is, but how small our planet is compared to the solar system, as compared to the universe, as compared to the whole, damn thing that we know exists. It's like, again, there's things going on all around us. It's just like that's what's going on, and that's what happens, right? Like, say, like if there was if there was like a road crew that was building a road near an ant hill. You know what I mean? Like there's ants like see like some like big goofy shit going on over here, right? They know some stuff's going on, but they have no concept of like we're building a road,
Right.
So
what's that called? The Fermi Paradox, I believe.
Is that a Fermi? Yeah.
So, yeah, I believe so. So it's basically like we could be in that same kind of thing. We're the ants and space is the highway that you spoke of.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's yeah.
That's the thing. But anyway, back to I just wanted to preface like before I tell you about a bunch of weird shit that I think I saw. Like I'm not trying to say that this was an alien or a Sasquatch or whatever it is. I'm just saying if I don't know what the fuck that is,
Yeah. Do tell. This is the stuff that warms my heart. I love this shit.
Yeah, no, there was some like these bright ass orb, and I've seen these things a few times. But one time I was actually able to take a little video of it. And it was just floating around in the sky, but it would like bob up and down in a way that I've never seen anything move. And it would come closer and then go far and then move vertically and and in circles and weave around, and then it would disappear, and then it would come back real bright, and then it would start doing its thing over again. We sat and watched that thing for a good probably 3 or 4 minutes.
Wow.
And then it just went away. So
that seems to be the case in most of those like UFO sighting stuff, is there where it's like super like, oh my god, they're doing variables and twisties and it's gone.
Yeah.
So how many times have you witnessed well, they don't call them UFOs anymore, they call them unidentified aerial phenomenon?
Okay.
It's just a fancy way of saying UAPs, not UFOs now.
Yeah. So I've seen that like same similar thing like 3 times.
Really? 3 times?
Yeah, it's always off. It's on my back porch, right off of my back porch.
Okay, so it's not like you can rule out that it's a satellite.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I live in Pittsburgh. We can't even see the fucking sky here. It's cloudy 7 months out of the year.
That's very true. Every time I'm in Pittsburgh, it's always the shittiest weather.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to Pittsburgh. Like, yeah, no, we never see. You can't see shit in the sky around here. Between the light pollution and the clouds, there's not really a whole lot to see most of the time. And I've seen that 3 separate times.
Yeah, because my wife and I were sitting in our backyard at my old place, and I saw like this light just kind of going zip but it was, and I make the joke, we saw a UFO, and she's like, it was a fucking satellite. But you know, in my eyes, it's a UFO because I've never seen one. And actually, on the way back from when we played at Ormsby with Radar, we were talking about UFOs, and all of us want to see a UFO so bad. And Holmes, the drummer, said, if you want it too much, though, that's when you won't see one. And I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently that's a thing. So did you want to see a UFO really bad and then you saw one, or were you just like, hey, fuck it, I kind of died once. If I see one, I see one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It did all kind of change around there. Like I was always been interested in it, but always kind of scared of it. But yeah,
right.
Now that I think about it, after that, I'm just like, yeah, you know, whatever, shit happens. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's going on whether I'm aware of it or not. And there's nothing I can do to stop it, so bring it on. You know, like whatever.
Dude, that's my thing. Is I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, I want to see a UFO, but I would shit in my pants if I saw a UFO in, like, you know, in the stories of the guys who were like, yeah, it was fucking landed. And I would shit. I promise you I would shit. But I'd be excited. I think it would be a scared / excited shit, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable reaction.
Did you shit?
I did not shit. I just stood there staring like an idiot, smoking my cigarette. Decided I should pull my phone out and see if I could get it on, you know, on camera.
Right. So what else is that? So you've seen 3 UAPs, UFOs. What else? Have you seen the Mothman? Have you seen the humanoid?
No, I've never. I don't think I've ever seen the Mothman. I don't know. I don't know that I've honestly ever seen anything. You know, I think I've seen things. You know,
right?
And they're in areas that there's a lot of precedent for seeing those sort of things.
Yeah.
And you know, still ongoing today. I used to spend a lot of time in Eastern Kentucky, which is a very unique, very rural, very isolated kind of place.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stories about like goblins, like for lack of a better term.
Interesting.
That live in the mountains and out through there. And it's a very strange feeling in that place. Like again, I don't know really how to describe it, but it feels like there's something going on. And
why is it the rural areas, crop circles? You always get that guy on the news station, Alabama, Channel 5. We have Dwayne here who said he saw a tractor get ripped from the sky. And then the guy comes up. He's like, yeah, boy, I tell you, boy, howdy, man. I see that damn tractor go right up in the sky, man. And that shit crazy. And then, you know, it's like shit like that, where it's like, of course I don't believe that guy, you know? Yeah. What is the deal with that? Why is it the rural southern areas?
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to stay away from us.
Us smart people who talk about farts and NDEs on the podcast, right?
They go, yeah. So they go where there's less people. I don't know. Maybe they're trying not to be seen.
Yeah, could be. And then, you know, Dwayne from Alabama always catches it.
Well, I don't know though, but they just had a bunch of series of Owlman sightings in Chicago in the past few years.
Of what?
The Owlman.
Is that the same as the Mothman?
It's similar. Yeah, they said it was similar looking to the Mothman. These are like large group sightings of this thing in downtown Chicago.
Actually, I did hear about something it was like Lollapalooza like 5 or 6 years ago. There were people getting on the train, and it was a big group but it was all young guys, young kids, like, you know, they're teens on the train saying that they saw the red-eyed Mothman thing. So I don't know, maybe it was the Owlman. I have never heard of the Owlman.
Oh, I'll send you some stuff on it.
Yeah, please do.
I was big on the Owlman for a while because there was like a lot of sightings going on. So what the hell was that? And like there was like group sightings, you know. It was like dozens of people were like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck that thing was. It was, you know, big and kind of looked like an owl and had red eyes. It was hanging off the side of a building on a Lakeshore?
Lakeshore Drive.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a sighting there
Actually, that's where that Lollapalooza is held in Grant Park, which is like right there. So
Okay.
interesting. Look at that. We just made some connections.
Yeah.
What else is there? There's Mothman. I think I would faint while I shit my pants if I saw like a giant Mothman / owl man. But here's my theory: is you know how like all these the rich guys are going out to space? So like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk wants to get to Mars.
Yeah.
I think it's like a Bruce Wayne thing where they have discovered something where they can get away in a jiff, right? And they've tested this stuff out, and they have all the money to pay for a giant Mothman costume that looks and feels real if somebody by chance gets a hand on them, and it's just them kind of having some fun. Because if I was that rich, I wouldn't go to fucking space. I would do exactly what I just talked about right there and spend all my money on a Mothman suit. I would fucking get the red eyes. You know that they can put some, what they put in glow sticks in their fucking pupils and shit and be fine because they're rich like that. That's what I think is going on. Chuck, your thoughts?
Billionaires fucking with people.
Yeah, dude. It's very plausible.
So that very well may be. See, I had a theory before. Remember when Musk shot his fucking car up into space? Remember that? He fucking shot that Tesla. Yes. Right. And it's fucking orbiting the moon now or some shit. There's like a fucking Tesla up there. I think there's a dead hooker in the trunk of that Tesla. I think Elon and his buddies took it a little too fucking hard one night, and they're like, killed this girl. Oh my God, what the fuck are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And fucking Elon's like, fucking hold my beer, fucking watch this.
Of dollars.
Watch this. And they fucking stuffed her in the trunk, and they launched her into space, and that poor girl's body is never gonna be fucking found.
Dude, that's an amazing theory. It's probably true. He recently got divorced, so that's very plausible.
He did, huh?
That's amazing. Who do you think is more likely to do that? Jeff Bezos? He also got recently divorced.
Yeah.
There is so many dead hookers out in space right now. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Batman would never do that. Bruce Wayne would never do that.
No. I mean, like those guys like could be Batman. You know what I mean? Those guys are rich enough. Saying. Like they are, but they're actively choosing not to be Batman.
Yeah, but also, do you really think that they could beat anybody's ass, especially in Pittsburgh and Chicago?
No,
come on. No, they could dress up as Mothman or Owlman, put the glow sticks in the eyes, but like rich guy glow sticks, and then just fly away and fuck with people. And then when they go on and they see, all these kids, everybody thinks these kids are crazy, but it's really me. And I think that's more of an Elon Musk thing. I think Jeff Bezos is so out of touch that the hooker thing seems more real with him than it does Elon Musk.
Okay.
And who do you think would win in a fight?
Working together on the hooker in the trunk of the Tesla then? Or?
Potentially. But I think if you had to choose one, I think Elon Musk would be the guy screwing with people because he's kind of like dainty and he thinks he's really funny and stuff. And then Jeff Bezos would be like, oh my God, what do you do with a dead person and not get caught? Oh, when you're me, you're rich and you send them to space in a car, right?
Right. Yeah.
Hey, Elon, can I borrow a Tesla? And he's like, oh, sure. Yes, you can borrow a Tesla. Because money, there's no such thing as currency with us guys.
I think Musk is kind of like, I think he's kind of unhinged. I think he's coming unhinged a little bit. Like I think he's like one like bad rejection away from becoming like a Bond villain.
Dude, very much so. I can totally see that. Who do you think would win in a fight between those two?
Oh man, that's tough. I don't know.
Because I think it's landslide Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I think Jeff Bezos is just an airhead. You know what I mean? I mean, in as much as you can be an airhead while you're a billionaire, but like,
yeah.
Have you ever heard him laugh? Have you heard the laugh of when he like made a joke and it was just the most? It was just the most nerdy guy laugh you've ever heard.
I forgot about that until right now. Yeah.
That's just like it's exactly like that. They're like it's like the way your uncle laughs at like a family gathering. You're like, oh my god, he's killed people, and that's clear. You know. All right. Anyway, we started on NDEs. We went into UFOs, and we are ending on Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk fighting and sending whores out into space. I think that's a great ending point.
I'm good with it. Where do we go from here?
Okay, so I do want to thank you for conversating about all this stuff. I know we've been trying to do it for a little bit, and it's very cool about your near-death experience stuff, and that you've seen way more UFOs than I probably ever will because I want it too bad. You got any shows coming? This will be up by like next week, so if you want to promote anything, now's your time to do it, Sir Veri.
Yeah, we're playing Inco Fido. We're doing a show. It's January 29th at Brandy's on Main in Irwin, PA, which is just about 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh. It's a benefit show for my buddy Jake. He was diagnosed with a rare, crazy form of cancer. We're getting together to have a show, raise some money, help him pay some of his bills. And that's pretty much it for the near future. We got some stuff out in the spring, but I don't want to talk about it yet because who the hell knows what's going to happen between now and then.
Exactly. What about a website for Inco Fido?
It's incofido.com.
All right. Well, Chuck, you're the best. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me on, man. This was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We'll have to do it again and have more, I guess, music talk stuff.
Cool.
All right.
I'm down, man.
All right, man. Well, stay safe out there and keep looking sexy.
All right, thanks, man.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.